Welcome back to the Roadside Rescue YouTube channel. I'm Ernest, and we're gonna start on these projects I have sitting around here. I have that mini truck. I had kind of announced a bigger plan for it, but I think right now, just because we have to put an engine in this and get that other Jeep running, I'm just gonna get it running and probably get rid of it. And when I do a mini truck in the future, I'll just get a new mini truck. Nothing really wrong with this one, minimal rust. It is 4x4, and I would like one. I think that's 2-wheel drive. That's how my old original truck, my very first vehicle, was. Anyways, semantics. We're gonna go ahead, do the clutch in that. It may need a fuel pump later. It sounded really bad, but it did run, but it ran rough. So once we get it running, we're also gonna have to fine tune some things and get it running right. But I got it running, you know, no clutch action, so it wouldn't even move, wouldn't even slightly grab. That's what we'll do. Hopefully it takes just a couple hours here, but it's got the transfer case because it's 4-wheel drive, so I haven't done a clutch on a 4-wheel drive. But I've done plenty of clutches and engine swaps on those old Nissan D21s. They were all 2-wheel drive though. So we'll get started, and here we go. We're starting with a big project. So you may not see as many videos this week and the next following week, but we're gonna be doing some bigger things. The videos are gonna be a bit bigger and more detailed. So here we go. All right, so here's a look at what's going on so far. A while back, several weeks ago, I had started this and I just never got around to finishing. It was cold, so it kept snowing, and then I was like, actually the day I was doing this, it snowed real bad, so then that's why I stopped. So I've got the selector taken out. I probably don't even have that footage anymore. I may have it, but it's probably pretty boring because that's all I got to pretty much. So yeah, that's that. It's undone up top. We gotta undo all the bolts. Everything else, there's a, check it out. Oh, and I got the drive shaft out, that's the other thing. And there's the 4 bolts for that. So we've got to do the transfer case, the front drive shaft, and the transmission. And you know what, with this creeper under here, it's just a little low, so I may just jack this up and get us up a little bit taller, just so it's easier to work on underneath there. But that's it, we'll get started. They say that all the time. If I ever have my brother help, they're like, who's on camera? Introduce yourself on the camera. I can put in a video. If you don't want to be on video, you don't have to.
No, I would love to. Oh, yeah. Alrighty.
All right, here we go. We've got this jacked up safely. Some stands there under the frame, and I put the jack underneath the front subframe, kind of cross member under the front suspension there, just in case. It's just barely touching in case something happens. That's grabbing the front there. These tires are pretty dry rotted, but I like these old, I think these are those old Jeep wheels. Well, they're 6-lug. Maybe those are Jeep. I thought the Jeeps had 5 lugs. Anyways, same style, these old aluminum wheels. And yeah, pretty cool. We'll get started here. We got this up enough to use the creeper now. Get that. We'll need to get another one of these because we're missing one.
You're missing one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, goodness. Let me do this. See if, maybe like this.
They move?
Yeah, I think it's moving. The whole thing. Air pull.
Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Why is that one so tight?
You have an impact gun? No, it's too small for an impact.
Yeah, the space is the issue.
Ah, you hear it?
Close to busting my knuckle, but I got it. Almost busted my knuckle. I didn't expect it to go so fast.
Well, the clutch is here, right?
Yeah.
We may need to move all of these.
Yeah, we're gonna take this as the transfer case here.
Yeah.
We'll take this out because it's just like so much weight on the end of the transmission. And then we'll probably have to take out the whole transmission. This should come out pretty easy though. I've replaced the engine in this same truck without four-wheel drive like 5 times, so I can, once it gets going, I can get it figured out pretty easy. This one's actually put in the right direction. Somebody had replaced those bolts before and they were messed up. So. Here, watch your eye. It should be able to hold there. Just watch out, I don't want to kick this wrench into your face. That's how it's supposed to be. Somebody had put those other two in backwards.
I need to take those two, or we are just putting.
Could slide out. We might have to take those off, or just leave them. Maybe get a zip tie. Do you want to go grab like 2 long zip ties?
Oh.
All right, I'm gonna drain the transfer case here real quick before we pull that out here in a few moments. Yeah, so we'll get this drained. Takes quite a bit longer to do a clutch on the ground just because it's, you know, you can't stand underneath it with half the time an impact gun and an extension reaching everything in just a couple of seconds. You kind of have to maneuver quite a bit of stuff around, but we should have this done hopefully, again, just a couple hours. Oh yeah, right on the ground. Got this pig mat under here, but was not expecting it to come gushing out quite so fast. Get some pig mat on that. Now we've got to worry about laying in that, so that's what I didn't want to do. Let that absorb for a minute. And I'll get some rags. We'll try and clean that up so we don't have to lay on that, but put a piece of cardboard down or whatever. We've got the front drive shaft off. There was a bolt missing. 2 of them were put in backwards, so we had to fight with them quite a bit. And everything else should be pretty smooth going from here on, it looks like. So, yep. All right.
So it was transmission or just?
This was transfer case.
Yeah.
This is when you put it in 4-wheel drive, what starts turning this one to turn the front wheels.
No, I mean the liquid.
Oh yeah, it should be automatic transmission fluid in this one. All right, we'll get this front. Can you hold it right there? All right, we'll get this front drive shaft out of the way here with some zip ties.
Hey, Mommy.
Much editing to do in this video. All right, buddy. I'll help you swing.
Let it go.
Make it tight.
¿Qué onda, los vecinos? ¿Molestan mucho?
No.
Qué bueno.
Tienen árbol y manzana y dicen que el nene puede agarrar manzanas cuando quiera. Son buenas. Okay.
Perfect. It is recorded.
Yep. All right, we got that drive shaft just zip tied out of the way there, so we don't have to worry about pulling it out of the front axle or differential. And it's time to disconnect this transfer case first, so we don't have to fight with it, and then we'll do the transmission after. We probably didn't have to drain this, but I wanted to just get some new fluid in there anyways. You know what, we probably would have had to drain it anyways just to remove it from the transmission. So we'll do some cleaning up here and then get these removed. If you want to just wipe up oil and stuff, like kind of, we're gonna be fighting with that stuff here for a bit. So yeah. Let's okay, let's go find. All right, just getting this cleaned up a little bit since we're gonna be fighting with holding the bottom of it. That way we don't get super greasy. And yeah, Nicolas is helping me today. Nicolas is my buddy from Argentina. Since everybody asked in the last video who the cameraman was, this is Nicolas. And sometimes he'll be here on the camera, sometimes he's busy and I'm just working by myself. So we don't know. He may be here for several episodes, a lot, maybe just a few. Just kind of helping out, so. Yeah, in the past I've had my brother help me film on a few random episodes. People always ask anytime there's somebody new who it is, so for the next couple episodes, if somebody's here helping or filming, it's gonna be Nicolas most likely. Alright. This vacuum line is the only other thing on the transfer case here. Let's see. Perfect. Okay, there's that. This case should be ready to come off. Right, we're gonna loosen these torsion bars, see if we can take this torsion bar bracket out, and then the cross member for the transmission with its mount off next. And we've got a bunch of these bolts on this transfer case loose, but there's just not enough room to get it out, so. Okay, that one's lost all of its torsion. Next one. Yeah, we've got the weight off the tires too, so that helps a little bit in taking the pressure off these, and then we gotta just get the bracket off now. I think the bushings in the front of those torsion bars may give us enough play to get these out without having to do anything weird, but we're kind of just a little stuck right here. Side's pretty much out.
Gray bar.
All right, well, we got that bracket for the torsion bar off and the torsion bars, and that's out of the way. We've just got to get this for the transmission, that bracket cross member for the transmission itself. The mount for the transmission bolts right up through there. And yeah, we never had any luck really getting this transfer case off, so I may see if I've got a transmission jack. I may just do it all at once. I used to just, you know, we'd pull the transfer case off because you don't want to fight with the whole thing going together, you know, but we didn't really ever use nice transmission jacks or anything, so we'll see. If we have to separate them, we will, but for now, we'll plan on just pulling the transmission all at once with the transfer case on it. And yeah, we're pretty much halfway there. All right, so I've just got some of the weight off this transmission mount here, so I have enough room to get my wrench under there. There's 2 bolts on the mount, and then there's a couple bolts holding the bracket up. One on that side was probably cross-studded when it was put on because it's only on by like 2 threads, or somebody completely forgot. And this is almost off. We'll undo this. I've got yeah, the transmission jack under there holding some of this, so you don't want to push up too hard on the transmission while the mount's still on there. You can tear the mount, then you can get some vibration, some clunking whenever you put it into gear, so you just want to be careful. But if you do, like on these ones, I've done a lot of these trucks, you don't have enough room unless you take some of the weight off of it, so you just want to be careful.
What are we doing?
Just kind of wiggling it, seeing if we can get it out. It should fall and catch this. I've picked these up by myself before, so they're not impossibly heavy, but they're pretty heavy. That was a little too much. Okay, it's off.
Totally?
We're recording that? That was pretty fast.
Probably.
Okay.
I don't know if
There we
you're
go.
recording.
Okay. Just try and slide this back a little bit more. Careful it doesn't fall on you.
It's gonna fall because it has the your size.
Yeah. I just want to roll off. I don't care about the transmission. I don't want it to fall on you. Okay. Esto, ¿sabes qué es asbestos? Asbestos.
What is that?
Te da cáncer de pulmón.
Yes.
Todo esto tiene asbestos. No, si el humo sale, no respire. Sí.
Asbestos.
Okay, perfect. That's a ton of room.
So we are taking this away? Or
No, we'll just leave that here. I'm just gonna replace all the stuff's pretty moist. It's when it's in like powder form that it's really bad for your lungs. But if it's not like powdery, it's okay.
Do you want me to grab one of these? So we can remove this so you have more space?
No, I think I should have enough room. You can even see that. We're just getting these bolts on this pressure plate loose. You reuse the bolts, but we've got a new pressure plate and clutch and throwout bearing, and you don't really want to reuse too much on these clutches, like throwout bearing and stuff, because you may have that go out in a couple thousand miles, and then you've just got to redo everything. The amount of work anyways to get back down to it. So pilot bearings the only thing that if they're not messed up, I'll reuse.
So this is the
Eso
truck.
fue el embrague. All right, here we go. Here's the old clutch, or what was left of it. We've got this ring here. The other ring disintegrated, and yeah, that's what happened. So we'll get rid of this. The flywheel isn't very scratched, so I'm not going to worry about replacing the flywheel. Again, I'm not going to really go forward with anything on this project-wise. Just get it running. So we had some safety measures we took to make sure we cleaned all that up correctly and sealed it up, and we're ready to get reinstalling now. So that's the old one. I thought that would be pretty interesting. All right, to maximize the ease of getting this back in, you really want to make sure that your little alignment pin is just like, you kind of want to just wiggle it around in all the different directions, make sure that's like perfectly centered and can slide in and out as easy as possible, and that'll help that transmission shaft get lined up on that. And then you got to tighten these down a little bit at a time. You don't want to tighten down one side all the way down before you do the others. That's the only other trick to getting these in well. Just make sure they're torqued down to their appropriate torque. Okay. 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 All right, see if you can push forward, like maybe use your feet and just push it towards the front of the car. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, push some more if you can. I think we're pretty much all the way in.
Well, I'm pushing, but it's not the transmission releases.
Okay. Yeah, maybe like wiggle your hand back and forth.
Okay, now this is totally like
Holding itself.
Spain. Like this thing needs to go a little up.
Okay, let's do that then.
Okay, that looks a little better.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the sealants. Like
yeah,
the
I think
seal
you're right.
section.
Yep. Yes. These holes look lined up here.
To go maybe a little.
Yeah, your end has to come like this way just a little bit. That way. And then push. Yeah, we got it. That's it, man. We got it all the way in. That was easy.
But now
Okay. Yeah, just hold that. Let me get the bolts. All right, we're just putting this cross member back on here. Then we'll tighten up. Yeah, we did it with that transfer case attached, so we'll just put those bolts back in the transfer case. And pretty much done. A sensor on here on this transmission is just completely shorted out and melted the wire. So I don't know which sensor that was. It wasn't the speedo sensor, so I hope the speedometer still works. But we threw it together pretty quick. It kind of just slid right into place since we had everything lined up so well. Plus that shaft on the transmission was honestly a little loose, so hopefully that's not a big issue, but Shueva?
Yep, right.
Of course it rains today. Right, just gonna top off this transmission now. Got my favorite new little baggies of fluid. Somebody in a recent video, I said I was excited about these because they're pretty sweet. But they use less plastic too, which is nice. But somebody said that sounded fake because you used the word excited. I said, if these don't excite you, you must have never changed your own gear oil. So, nothing fake about this, no sponsors here. Just think it's a great idea to have a little squeezable baggie you can put up there. But it's gonna take like 4.5 of these, so we've got oil, we've got transfer case fluid. The only fluid I'm not changing is the front diff, but when I did a diff change recently, I mentioned how it's nice when they have drain bolts on the diff so you don't have to redo gaskets or anything like that. And this is one of the vehicles that has drain bolts on its differentials. Drain plug, so you can just pull it off. Anyways, just filling this up. Is. Yep. Is that coming out by itself? It looks like. That's how you know it's full. We're recording. Alright, so we just filled up the transmission, the transfer case, and the engine oil. We went ahead and just replaced that because I wasn't sure of the condition of it. You know, we got to replace battery terminals. Just kidding, we really have to replace battery terminals. There's nothing left. And I should be able to do this pretty quick. And then we got to put the shifter in, but that should be like all 5 minutes to get that just bolted in. And we'll start it up. It ran really bad, so there's a chance it doesn't run good right now. If it does run fine, I'll drive it around the block and see. I'm assuming it doesn't have a transmission issue since the clutch went out. Usually when something's catastrophically broken like that, you know, you don't park it because the engine's not running and then all of a sudden the clutch goes bad because it's sitting there. You know, the clutch was in that shape. It most likely happened because it was driving, and pretty much that's the only reason it could happen. So I believe it's probably running, the transmission's driving good enough to have driven that clutch into the ground. So anyways, we'll see. Here's the 4-wheel drive selector. And how does this go? I don't remember. It's been too long. Start a project and don't finish it. All right, here we are. It may not run, but everything's put together now. And we're gonna go ahead and see if this will fire up. We got the battery from the Jeep in there since I still haven't got that Jeep running. So that battery fits. And yeah, I don't know. I took all the emission stuff out, so I don't know if we're gonna get a leak for something or something. Let's see. That battery might be dead. That clutch pedal is pretty soft, so I think we may have to bleed the clutch, but see if it starts first. Let's put a jump box on there. All right, got that jump box hook on. There goes nothing. That's that fuel pump. my footer, it'll die. So I'm braking it. I'm on the clutch now. I don't know why I don't have to, but if I keep this alive, we can hop up in here and do a test drive. We got a lot of fumes because there's an exhaust leak we gotta fix, but he's on the road. Sounds alright. Minus that exhaust leak makes it sound rowdy. Took the vacuum line off them brakes. Well, she's idling by herself now. It's not dying. Sounds rowdy. Half the job well done. Thanks for watching. We're starting to creep. See you on the next episode.